Welcome, this is Carrie Shell from On Point Quilter. I have been really wanting to make a quilt using the Star 60 ruler by Deb Tucker's Studio 180 design, and I want it to be miniature. And so I decided I needed to start by creating my design in Electric Quilt. Back on May 23rd, I created a blog post on designing your own Star 60 block. And in that blog post, this is the quilt that was designed. And you can actually see the final one from the video here. And we're going to use a similar process along with a template that we designed during this particular quilt to create a different design using the same concept. So in Electric Quilt, I've opened my Star 60 quilts, and if I view my project sketchbook, select the Blocks tab, and under Blocks, locate the template that was done during the previous session. And this is the one that's highlighted in red. Select Edit. The block was designed in PolyDraw and was a hexagon comprised of 6 equilateral triangles. If you need assistance in drawing this, go back to the Star 60 quilt design tutorial from May 23rd. Select the quilt work table and select New Quilt, and in the ribbon toolbar, select One Patch. Under Layout, select the style 1000 Pyramids. Since I know we are going to be doing a miniature and we want to use the measurements for the Star 60 ruler, I'm going to set the height at 1/2 inch. Then select an equilateral triangle calculator, and I will, under the height, put in 1/2 inch and select Calculate. Based on that, the edge length should be 0.577. If I go back to Electric Quilt, I want to change the width to 0.577. To get EQ to round to the smallest number possible, select Settings and then select Snap Settings. And under Nudge Settings, notice that I have changed this to 1/32 of an inch. And that's going to give me the greatest degree of refinement when drawing this particular quilt. Now, typically I actually recommend people keep this at like about an 1/8 inch. So after I'm done with this project, I'll bring it back to the 1/8 inch, but for this project, let's use the 1/32 of an inch. Select the Design tab and select Layer 3. Select Set Block and drag the hexagon template on Layer 3. I would like each wedge of the hexagon to be equal to 3 equilateral triangles. Multiply the width of one triangle, which is 0.577, times the number of triangles across the block, which is 6. So the size of my block should be 3.46. Under Adjust Block, make sure Preserve Aspect Ratio is turned on and change the size to 3.462. Now I can go ahead and place this over the first set of equilateral triangles. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste for another set. So I'm going to select the layout, but before I adjust my measurement, select Work Table Options, and under Layout Styles, All Style, turn on the Maintain Existing Block Sizes when resizing. So I'm going to change my vertical from 12 to 18. Then select the Design tab and select one of the templates and do a copy paste and move it below the other 2 templates. Note that we have 6 triangles going across, so select the Layout tab and change the number horizontal to 6. Select the Design tab. Select Layer 1 and select Fabric Tools, and be creative and color the first equilateral triangle. Use the same fabrics, but create a different layout or design for the second equilateral triangle. Using the first 2 triangles as a guide, color the 4 remaining equilateral triangles, alternating between Design 1 and Design 2. Then, using the first hexagon as a guide, color the remaining 2 hexagons. Once you've got it colored, go ahead and go to Layer 3. With the Adjust tool, select each of the templates and select the Delete key on your keyboard. And then you can go ahead and hide show quilt patch lines just to get a better visual and make sure your coloring is correct. And then go to the Border tab and set the first border at a 1/2 inch. Add a second border, and this one should be 1 inch. Now we need to add some setting triangles. And so to do that, go to the block work table, select a new block, pieced polydraw block. Set the number of rings at 4 and spokes at 6. We're going to start in the center, double click, go to the last full ring, go down to the second full ring, and back to the center and double click. Go to the Color tab and add this to the project sketchbook. Select the quilt work table and select Set Block. Go to Layer 2 and take the block and drag it on the quilt. And I'm going to turn those Hide Show Quilt patch lines back on. I want to resize the triangle to fill the right corner of one of the hexagons, but I want to increase the size to extend through that first border. And I can cut that using the star 60 ruler. Make sure Preserve Aspect Ratio is on and drag the lower right corner of the block to resize the triangle. I found that the perfect size was 5.5. Now make sure Snap Block Position to Grid is turned off and position that in that lower right corner. And then select Copy Paste and select Flip and do 2 rotates and move the patch to the upper right corner. With the Shift key on your keyboard, select both of those setting triangles and select Copy Paste and move it to the hexagon below. Then do another Copy Paste and move that to the third hexagon. Then I can do another Copy Paste, use the Rotate option and rotate each of the patches individually and move those to the left side of the hexagon. And so now with the Shift key, I'll select those 2, do a Copy Paste, and a final Copy Paste for the top hexagon. Zoom in and clean up alignment of those setting triangles. Go to Fabric Tools and color the setting triangles and the borders. Now we can Hide Show Quilt patch lines. I'm going to do a Fit to Work table and select Add to Project Sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. Next week, I hope to share with you my construction technique using the star 60 ruler.